Hi there, this is Liz from Love Lettered here, and today I'm going to take you through my process when I hand letter scripture. So from concept to finished design, I'm going to tell you what I do. This actual example that you see before you is a design that I created with a Crayola marker. So you can use a lot of different things, and I'm going to go over those tools that you might want to use. So the first thing I do when I'm getting ready to work on a design or sketch a design is I gather all my tools, and I have some Canson mixed media paper that I use for my actual finished product that I like to letter on. The great thing about this paper is it's not rough on your pen tips or your brush tips, and I like it because it can be used for a lot of different mediums. You can use it for watercolor, use it for markers, use it with my Micron pens. So there's a lot of different things you can use it for. But when I am sketching, I like to use my regular printer paper. And there's a lot of different printer papers out there that you can use. If you're just going to use a pencil to sketch with, then I just recommend using regular old printer paper. It doesn't have to be laser printer paper. It can just be jet ink printer paper. But it's important to have, something to sketch on. So what you're going to need to sketch with is a pencil, a really good pencil. I like to use the Tombow pencils, and there's different types of pencil, like from a really light pencil to a darker pencil that you can use. Use whatever you prefer. I'm using this one here I have is a Tombow. It's an HB. And then the eraser is really important too. You want an eraser that erases well, that's not going to smudge your ink or your pencil marks, and is going to do an adequate job. So again, my favorite go-to is a Tombow plastic eraser, the Mono. You can find these on Amazon. Go to the Tombow website and get them as well. And anyways, the next thing that I like to have when I'm getting ready is to have my Micron pens. These are Pigma Micron pens, and I love this set. I just received this a few weeks ago for Christmas, and I love it because the tips on these pens, there's from really ultra fine to a thicker pen, and then it also comes with a brush pen in this pack and with the white jelly pen. And I mean, this is the thing to have if you're going to work on lettering and creating some really awesome pieces. This is a great pen set to have, so I recommend it. You can find it through Amazon, and it's a great deal. All right, so once you have your tools, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I go through the process of sketching and picking the verse, okay? So that's going to be next. Okay, so now I'm going to take you into the process of when I have my scripture and actually how I actually pick the actual verse that I'm going to choose. So there's one of two ways I do it. I'll just either find something that I like that I'm reading in the Bible and I pick it out, or if I'm doing a lettering challenge, I will choose that verse that they've given you for the day. So right now I'm doing Crystal Witten's lettering challenge, and if you look up Crystal Witten on Instagram, you'll find her and you'll see the challenges that she has on her Instagram. So the verse for, I believe it was today or it was yesterday, is Psalm 1:6. Now this is a thing I like to do. I will look up a couple of different versions of the verse, and then I'll decide which ones I want. So for this one, the actual verse is, "For the Lord watches over the path of the godly, but the path of the wicked leads to destruction." But then in the Message, I liked how it read, "God charts the road you take." And there was another little part that went to this, but I kind of just liked this part here. So I'm actually, I've decided to use this one, okay? But I kind of want to go over, when you do use a verse, what the process is for choosing which words you're going to have stand out. So if you look at this verse here, we'll start with this version of the New Living Translation. "For the Lord watches over the path of the godly, but the path of the wicked leads to destruction." So the first thing I do is I decide which words I want to emphasize. So what I'll do generally is I'll either underline or circle the ones that I'm going to use. So for this one here, I'd probably want to emphasize Lord, and I also like the word watches, so I'm using my left hand, sorry. I'm right-handed. And then here, another good one is path. And then another good word here is godly. Those are just some of the words I want to emphasize. So I'll kind of make a note in my sketches, like what words I like. And those are the ones I'll usually make a little bit larger. I kind of will have like maybe even deciding like, well, I want the Lord to be the largest word. So maybe if that's the case, I'll make this like a number 1. I'll say, okay, that's going to be the largest out of it. And then I go from there, like which is going to be the second largest word, or the third and the fourth, whatever. So that's what I kind of do first. I choose the word that I want to emphasize. Now, if I'm using this message translation, God charts the road you take, I'm probably going to make God the number 1 word that I want to emphasize. And number 2, the next biggest word I'm probably going to do is road. All right, so that'll be the number 2. And then the next verse I probably want to do is charts. So those are kind of the steps I take in deciding which words I'm going to go ahead and emphasize in my lettering. Okay, so the next step now is I'm going to take you into actually coming up with a thumbnail sketch. All right. Okay, so the first thing I do when I'm getting ready to sketch, after I've chosen the words that I want to emphasize, is I try to come up with like a layout. And it's not a perfect layout, but I'll try to just come up with something. So sometimes if you want, a good thing to do is maybe just create a little box within the shape that you want to do it. It doesn't have to be a rectangle, it can be a circle. Sometimes if you want to come up with a design where the words are kind of in a circle within a circle, you can do that as well, or whatever. But this is just to kind of give you an idea of what you want to do. So I'm going to do God charts the road you take. So again, I said I want to make God the biggest word. All right, so sometimes when it comes to this part, I'm trying to figure out, am I going to do God in a script? Am I going to do it in just regular printed letters? So this is a time where you can just mess around. God charts. So God charts. And this is where I'll try to figure out how I'm going to do this. So God charts. Let's see, and then the word road. I try to see how I would like that in a script. Font. God charts the road you take. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do this, but I might put it in a little banner. You take. And then you can add where it's found. Psalm 1:6. You can add it here on the bottom if you want. So I'll come up with a few of these different design ideas to try to figure out what I like. And I might not even end up doing it that way. I might just start like, okay, well, maybe... Here, let me move this up a little bit for you. Maybe I want to do like God in script instead. Around trying to see what you want to do. Then you can also try to mess around too with lettering styles. As you can see, I added some lines to this. I changed up the style. This is script. And I added charts in that little curve. This is the fun part, just kind of coming up with a design. Alright, so the next part I'm going to take you into is actually coming up with a final sketch. And then I'll show you what I do after that. Alright, thanks for following. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on the actual sketch that we came up with. So just to remind you what it looked like, those were the designs that we came up with, okay? So we're going to start with God. I'm going to go ahead and mix the lettering style. God. I'm going to put charts here in this little curve. God charts. And then if you want, you can just add little little serif marks here on the letters. These little lines at the bottoms and the tops. Make it a serif font. Alright, so God charts the, and I'm going to put the in the little crook here of the G. Now the word road. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Right. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time you try to do this. That's why you're doing it in pencil. Alright, so, and what I'm going to probably do here is utilize this line and kind of try to connect it with my D. So I'll show you what I mean. Like, so that's kind of what I'm doing with that. And then the last part of this is you take. So it'll probably make take a little bit bigger than you. And the fun part with lettering is you can always play around with shapes, the shapes of the letters and the slants of the letter. I think that's what makes it fun. You can, you know, elaborate and accentuate certain aspects. Like I slanted the A on here, kind of curved up the K. So God charts the road that you take. There I go. So now what I'm going to go back and do is add some lines to kind of thicken the letters. Always the downstroke is thicker and the upstroke's lighter. So I'm going ahead and adding these strokes to make the downstrokes thicker. And I'm going to do the same for the script here. I'm just showing you kind of my process. I'm not saying this is the perfect way to do it or the only way to do it, but and one of the things to kind of keep in mind is to try to keep the width of your strokes that you're making the same size, just to have cohesiveness. I'm not always perfect with that type of stuff, but that's why you practice. But it's good to try to make them the same width. So, alright, so, and then I always forget to add where the verse is found, so let me try to remember here. Psalm 1:6. Alright, so we have the basic part there. Now what I would do, I would go ahead and try to think, what detail do I want to add? Do I want to fill this all in one color on God, or do I want to add some little decorative details? And so I'll probably add some little lines here. What I'm probably going to do is just add some little like dash lines, maybe to kind of signify like a road a little bit. I know it's not really, but when you see the dash lines, it kind of reminds me of the lines in the road when you're driving. And since we're saying God charts the road you take, it kind of goes with it. If you're good at illustrations and drawing things and doodles, you can always add that to your lettering too. It gives a little extra to it. And if you're not sure how to draw things, you can always go online and just look up whatever you're looking for. So like if you're looking to, like, you need to know how to draw a stop sign or a car the correct way, you can go ahead and look it up online and find it to give you some inspiration on how to draw it. All right, so God charts the road you take. And this kind of looks like it's floating out there, the U. I kind of don't like that. So ways that you can kind of make your design look like it goes together is maybe by adding some lines or adding a box. And I think for this one, for now, I'm just going to add, let me see, I guess a line. So it just feels like it's floating out there on its own, so I kind of want to bring it back into the whole group of words. So I think that looks a little bit better. It's probably not my favorite, and of course this is like slanted wrong as I look at it from the right perspective, but that's okay. Anyways, so that's kind of how you do the actual sketching when you go to the thumbnail to actually sketching it on your paper. And the next thing now, I'm going to go ahead and get my microns, and we're gonna put it in, make it look all nice and neat. All right, right back. Okay, so now it's time to start filling in the design with our microns. I have a bunch of microns here, different widths. So I want to have a really thin one. I want to have the next size up, and then the size up after that, and then my thickest one. So I usually will use the thicker one for words I want to stand out, so like God or road. So, and then I can go back and do details with the thinner one. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start filling it in. And I'm probably going to have this video sped up just so you know. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay, I think that's good for now. I've got the little bits and pieces, but there you go. This is just a really simple take on a verse you can letter, and a way that you can do it creatively, connecting letters, adding little decorative things to it. And so I hope you enjoyed the process. Nothing, earth-shattering, but it's the way I do things. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed learning, and make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Love Lettered Here, and you can also follow me on YouTube as well. And I also am under Love Lettered Here at YouTube. Okay, thanks. Have a great day.